This week on Trash Panda Off-Road, we're going to put this rear third member with the spool into the Trash Panda. Those of you that new to the channel or just don't know or don't remember, the Trash Panda is a 95 Geo tracker with the 8 valve 1.6 liter, currently running on 35s with the 2-inch spacer lift, 2-inch body lift, and a lot of fender clearancing. It is an automatic rig, and so in order to help with the gearing and such, we are going to put in a set of axles out of a 5-speed rig. Actually, out of that mint colored rig over there. So went ahead and already put a spool into the rear because this has a spool in the rear. This is kind of a long project. I already took the wheels off, got the axle supported. If I remember correctly, take the spacers off, these bolts here, then there's 4 bolts back here that we're gonna have to take off. Everything's all muddy. I tried to clean it up a little bit. Got about 3 days to get this one and the front end done because we're going back to Elby. So I'm gonna have to hustle. I'm gonna lose the ABS. So it's got the ABS sensor there. Actually, technically I already lost the ABS because I put the spool in this gear set. So we're going to go ahead and just take that out of there and wind it up and clip it off. We'll have a dash light forever, but yeah, I think I already have a check engine light anyway. And this is the off-road rig, so nobody inspects it or looks at it or anything like that. So, okay, first thing we're going to do, spacer off of both sides. These bolts here and these bolts back here. Get that all done, and then we'll take another look at it. So I can get a reassessment of what I have to pop out with either a slide hammer or by sticking the tire back on. So in order to do that, maybe I don't take all this stuff off. Anyway, we'll work it out together and eventually we'll get it right. So keep watching. After taking a look at a set of axles, shafts that I have around back out of a different tracker, I got a lot of these things. This is what we think we're going to try. We're going to run a slide hammer here, try to pull this thing out. We have unbolted the 4 bolts on the back plate, and that's pretty much it. And any of these wires and connections. I'm going to try to do this without having to bleed the brake lines. So you see we're already a little loose. So hopefully, in theory, slide hammer, be able to pull that thing right off of there. Alright, well, we pulled it free. Got the brake line holding it up. Don't know if that's actually going to be far enough to pull that third member out or not. Let's go do the same thing on the other side. It was, by the way, all these little brackets 10 millimeters, and these bolts back here are 12 millimeter. So unfortunately, slide hammer didn't work on this side. So the other technique that's used is to put a tire back on it and then either lay it on the ground here and kick it or smash it with a hammer. We'll try that. Now that I've got both the axle shafts freed, we'll start messing with the third member here. Drive line's got to come off. Those are 14 millimeters. We'll band that out of the way. and then we'll go ahead and start messing with the actual third member. This one, on this rig, I do have the spacer bar, so I got to get that off as well. And then again, like I mentioned earlier, ABS sensor. So once you get everything removed, spacer, ABS stuff was all right here on this side, all your bolt nuts around the edge, drive line of course. They say what the best thing to do here is try to use a bottle jack to crack this open and break the seal. I got a little catch can down there. See if we can catch any fluid out of that thing. We'll see what happens. That's doing a good job at spinning the axle. But we're not breaking the seal yet. Get that thing back in there. Let's try a couple cracks with a hammer. Getting dirt everywhere. Alright, so it says not to put a screwdriver in there, but I'm going to do it anyway, right here in this corner. Ah, look at that. So, I think we're starting to get somewhere here. Ah, there we go. There we go. Alright, so I used my knee against the far side to push that axle out a little further, and now the third member's coming out. And there's dirt in my face everywhere and I can't see anything. Okay, there it is. Alright. Fantastic. There's the old third member with the automatic gears, which I think are like 430. It's got a spool in it. And here's inside, 2 axle shafts sitting up there. Doesn't look terrible in there. Don't see any shreds of metal or anything in the gear from the gears. Gear oil still looks good from when we put it in. So now we have to clean all this up, all this silicone gasket sealer, get all that stuff cleaned up off of there, and then we'll look into dropping the new third member with the 512 gears and the spool out of a 5-speed tracker into the. We've cleaned off all the old gasket. Now we're going to put on some new gasket stuff. Then we will lift the new third member with the spool and the 5-speed gears, which are a 512 as opposed to the old 430, and we will put that up in here, and we'll have to probably kick the axle out on the driver's side again. That's what we had to do last time. This one right here out of the way, and hopefully we should be able to get this to set up. thing's not light, especially when you're laying on your back. And I take these bolts out that go to the spacer for the third member, or third trailing arm, or whatever that thing's called. It takes a little minute, let that set up anyway, so we're okay still. This one's a little tough. There we go. Put a little more here at the bottom. Oh, that's good and sticking out. I don't know if I should be messing with it or not. Oh well. Okay. Here we go. There we go. Yeah, that car moved a lot more than I expected it to on these jack stands. Now when it comes to putting the axles back in, if you get these bolts lined up to where they're close enough to touch the lip of this outside edge, you're in. And at that point, you just put a piece of wood here and use a hammer and smash those in until you get to about there, or far enough where you can throw your nuts back on there and sunk that thing in tight. You do that on both sides. I have to put my spacer back in right there, and then hook all my brake lines and everything back up, and I will be done with this project. And then we'll move on to the front one. Hope to do a video on the front one for you guys as well. Switching this whole thing over to the 5-speed gears, which are a 512. It's going to help turn those big 35s. Hopefully this helped you guys out. Appreciate you watching all the way to the end. Thanks a lot. I enjoy all the comments you guys have given and the feedback. Follow along Instagram, Trash Panda Off-Road. We're there pretty much every day, posting updates and plans to go wheeling. So thanks a lot, guys. See you in the next one. If you guys made it this far, you're probably thinking, hey, what the hell, you forgot a step. And I did, but not like forgot. I just forgot to record it. You got to refill this thing back with gear oil. So for me, I have a small socket adapter that I've already used all to hell as a drive pin and all kinds of stuff, so it's already beat up pretty good. Hammer it into the little square, use that to turn it out, and then we will fill this thing with some gear oil.